Hello, I'm Bookface. Welcome to the new year. This is entirely unscripted, so if I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, it's because I don't. I have a cool announcement, as well as a bit of an update. I got a lot of stuff to say. First off is the announcement. I've been working on a bunch of research, like a crazy amount of research. I've been driving myself crazy with research, because I wanted to do something a little different than the YouTube channel. I decided I wanted to make a website that'll be an awesome resource for all the myths, legends, cryptids, aliens, and anything else that I draw or talk about, because while I do enjoy doing my videos in the format that I do, they sometimes miss a point or two, or are a bit confusing, or don't have the in-depth research because I'm trying to get on a fairly regular upload schedule. This way I can get all the information out while also still keeping my YouTube channel fun. The thing is, I did not make a website.
You what?
My mom made me a website. I make that distinction because I could not have done this without her. She is amazing. She is also henceforth known as Stone Tablet Face, her joke, not mine. She made this whole website, just made an incredible base for me to work off of, and if I didn't have her help and knowledge of how to use the website builder, then it would have taken me who knows how long, if I ever even made it, because motivation is a tricky thing. And not to mention her checking my grammar and spelling makes everything coherent. My little ADHD brain can't focus on what words mean what. Unless they're directly associated with a monster, I head empty. I just want to make it very clear, this would not be happening without my mom, and she is incredible. You know, Christmas can be very stressful, and she was willing to compound that stress by working on my website as well. And she worked for hours and did so much and had such a long process. I can't state enough. My mom did amazing. Mom, I know you're watching this because she's also my most loyal viewer. Thank you for all the work you've done. I love you so much. Okay, so now that that part's done, I want to talk to you about some nice redraws I did. I started doing drawings for my videos early on. And in fact, a little trivia for you, the first time I did a drawing video, which was also the first time I did my weird little animatic style, the reason I did it was because I was in the hospital and I couldn't get in my Bookface outfit and my recording closet, so I just had to improvise with just using my voice, and it ended up becoming a staple of my channel. But the problem is, my drawings from back then weren't good. They've definitely evolved over time. There are some older drawings that I think look pretty good, even by my standards now. But there were some that were a bit lacking. I've already posted a short with my updates for Lumberjack Folklore, the Squonk, the Gumbaroo, and the Argapelter, or Agripelter, it varies. So I want to show some even better ones I did with the specific idea of, I want to make this awesome. Because it's unfortunately the case that when a creature has a really cool, awesome design, and I'm stressed for time, I can't be bothered to try and make it look as cool as it sounds, so I end up just going with the bare minimum and make it look awful. So we're going to see some upgrades of those. First up, there's the Rougarou. This was from my first video on werewolves, and actually I think it might be my only video on werewolves, but that's not important. Just wow. So basically the description I had was human body, wolf head, and that's pretty much what I did. I drew the worst proportioned human body I have ever seen from anyone outside of kindergarten. Like, what are these stubby hands and these uneven arms and legs? I drew the very, very basic dog head, and these teeth. What are these teeth? What are these snaggle teeth? And the background was just something simple. I did a generally faded background. It's not bad. It does look kind of weird because it just kind of looks like the land is like a bucket or something with water in it. It's a weird thing I did in a lot of my older ones. So now let's see the newer version. So as you can see, I've definitely improved my style. First off, I did the whole base underneath, even knowing that a large portion of it might not be shown. I did the entire body in this pale white because the Rougarou myth is related to the myths of the Wendigo, and that's a very common depiction of it, of a pale, lanky humanoid. I actually used the Wendigo design from Until Dawn as an artistic inspiration. I also wanted it to seem kind of bone-colored. I thought that was a good idea. The pose was tricky, and honestly the hands do look a little out of proportion. They're kind of big. That was my attempt at foreshortening, and it might have worked a little bit. I'm not sure. The hair, I was going for a sort of mangy, patchy vibe. So I did my wild, crazy fur texture and then just basically cut holes in it, bunch of little Swiss cheese kind of holes in it to make the open patches, then added the texture from there. And at first I'm like, this doesn't look very good, but it's grown on me. I think it looks cool now. The background I definitely upgraded a bit. I wanted it to really look like the creature is in the background. I might have added a shadow, but it also might be dark enough that you can't see it. And you can still see the water in the background, though it's sort of put more in the background than like directly in the foreground like the previous one. Next up we have the Dinganek. So this one was an issue of complexity. It was a very detailed and descriptive thing with a lot of different features. Jaguar, walrus, armadillo, a whole lot of things that also don't really go together. So what I ended up making is kind of weird. On the one hand, I like my simplistic style of like the colored outlines and that are like just a slightly darker or lighter version of the color that it is inside. I think it adds a weird bit of simple depth. But then I just completely throw that out the window with the jaguar head, which I made a lot more realistic. It feels very out of place, and the background's still just kind of meh. Honestly, there's really not a lot to say about this one other than it just looks awkward and I just don't like it. And so here is my new version of the Dinganek. Turned the walrus tusks into more like saber teeth, which is partially from descriptions, but also partially just because I thought it would look cooler. I think I made the cat head look a little better and kept it vague enough that it's not just a jaguar head on this thing, but still very much resembled it. I think the structure is a lot less awkward. It looks like it could move around pretty functionally, and it looks like a big hulking thing that could really mess you up if you weren't careful. A few issues I do still have with it though, like the spots, which are supposed to be all over its body, I feel are a little light, especially on certain parts like the shell. So I feel like I could have gone a little better in the detail of that. There's also the fact that I was a little, in my haste to make it look super cool, I didn't make it super accurate, because the description of the Dinganek is that it's supposed to have short stubby legs, and I gave it these big thick muscular legs because I thought that was cooler. So it's a little lacking in the accuracy there, which honestly bothers me more than anything, but I still think it turned out really cool, and I like this version of the Dinganek. I definitely like it more than the previous version. Oh boy. And then here we have the Tarrasque. Editing me, put in that beat that Corey does whenever it's horrible. And overlay it with that, whatever that was. So this was actually a combination of things. One, it was the same, oh, it's complicated, so I'm just gonna draw something simple. But also a matter of, I've drawn the Tarrasque quite a bit because it's like the quintessential weird monster. If you go like one layer past the most well-known stuff, you'll see the Tarrasque. So I've drawn plenty of Tarrasque. This one, it proportions off. I don't know what perspective we're supposed to have. It looks super goofy. It doesn't even look like it could move. It looks like some weird abstract sticker, which could work in some ways, not in this time. No, it don't work here. And here is my redone version. I mean, ultimately, I think it just comes down to the old drawing, but better. Like, I didn't take a whole lot of inspiration from the old one. I just used my newer techniques and changed it up. I altered the tail a bit to be more accurate to what an actual scorpion is, because I always mess that up. And I used the, what's it called? Plastic wrap effect, I think is what it's called in Photoshop, to really make it seem very slick and shiny, like the texture of a scorpion's shell. I put a bit more emphasis in the posing to where it sort of got a paw out. Still a pretty simple pose, but I mean, it's hard to keep track of 6 whole legs. I think I did a better job of making it look like it actually goes into the shell, and well, I think I did good with the lion head. It's still a little odd looking, because I mean, I'd have to really think it through because there's just so much going on here. It's hard to imagine how this creature would actually move. So it's hard to pose it in that sense. But yeah, ultimately this just feels like a better drawing. The old version did very little in this, if I'm being completely honest. So yeah, there are 3 upgraded drawings, some with updated information as well, and all of these, both the new and old drawings, will be available on my website to look at. I've also got information on a lot of other creatures, I think around 200 more or less, but I've got 400 in the works. So it's going to be a lot of information, and I plan on working on it a lot. I'm also going to be putting up a Patreon. First tier is just going to be, hey, you want to give $1 so I can do this? And then the next tier will be voting on what I research and what I turn into video topics. Yeah, check out the website, look at the information, and see what videos I do in the future. There are also some drawings on the website that I put more effort into but haven't actually put in a video yet because I just wanted to draw something. Got a big old gallery where at some point you'll be able to submit your own drawings and add some in. I already have a friend of mine who's added a couple drawings in there. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe. Share with other people if you think they'd be interested in the website or my channel. And be looking out. I've got a bunch of videos planned. Well, I intend on planning a lot of videos. I'm gonna have videos, and they'll probably be good. Alright. Awkward Book Face out.